What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to 4th and 1. I'm joined by Chris Gonzalez, also known as CG Ruthless. What's going on, CG?
What is going on, brother? Like, hey, long time no see, but hey, we've been having some rough weeks, man.
We had some rough weeks, and last week was no different. Last week, the Niners fell to the Arizona Cardinals 24-23, and just an absolute gut-wrenching, heartbreaking loss. The Niners were up 23-10 at halftime, and they scored 0 points in the second half. And on top of that, they had 4 turnovers in the second half. They had 2 interceptions, a fumble, and then a turnover on downs, which, I'm sorry, that's a turnover. You had 4 turnovers in the in the second half that allowed the Cardinals to win that game. Now, if there was a silver lining about the losses for the Niners, is this. In all 3 of their losses, they lost by 1 to the Cardinals. They lost by 3 or 4 to the Rams, and they lost by 6 to the Vikings. All of which they had a chance to win those games. Now, if they would have won those games, we'd be 5-0. We'd be like, yo, everything's great. But they're not. They're not able to close out these games, especially in the fourth quarter with the lead.
Yeah.
Chris, what did you think about last week's game against the Cardinals?
Dude, we had everything in our favor. The way we were playing, we were in a good start. But then the problem that I've been so upset about is the red zone, man. The red zone offense, bro. Like, what is Kyle doing, bro? Like, the first touchdown play was exactly the formula of what got us some points on the board from that time, but we kicked field goals. Why not we stick with that basic? Give Kittle the ball, or at least try to trust Jordan Mason on a screen pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but like they don't even use Mason in any kind of passing play whatsoever. He'll average like 1 catch a game. Now, granted, look, I know he's not Christian McCaffrey, and if you watch Johnny Dale's breakdown over on Johnny Dale's Football Academy, a good friend of mine, if you watch his latest breakdown, he broke down the red zone woes that they've been having. And when you watch the breakdown, it makes a lot of sense what he's saying. It's basically there's no Christian McCaffrey, so you have other players running routes that McCaffrey would run, and the timing is off. The skill level isn't there. And not only that, but the receivers aren't getting open as well. They're making mistakes in running their routes. And so that's what's creating these plays where Brock is just running around trying to make something happen because everything has broken down. And it's really bad. It's disgusting to see, really, because it's like, fuck, this team is so good. And this team has a lot of talent. Guys with big-ass contracts, guys who want big-ass contracts. And yet they're underperforming badly. Especially Charvarius Ward. He was a shutdown corner the past 3 years. This year, he has been anything but that. I don't know what's going on with that guy.
I don't know. It's like he's entering a contract year too, but then he's kind of been dealing with a knee issue too. So that kind of makes it hard for somebody to play as effectively, especially in a contract year. I don't like how some players just try to save themselves. I get it, business decision wise, but like you just said, the players who have underperformed by big contracts, we can just say Brandon Ayuk has been disappointed until last week's game. That was the only silver lining was Brandon Ayuk. That was his coming out party when he finally proved his worth. But consistently, bro, like Trent Williams, I know he's at that age where usually linemen tend to slow down, but he's finally kind of like slowing down at a point where you're kind of like saying, man, does this guy even still have it, you know? But maybe he'll shake the rust off. When you look at the rest of those contracts, like you're saying, bro, a lot of them have underperformed except Fred Warner. Fred Warner's the only guy that's performed up to that contract that he signed.
Oh, yeah. Fred Warner's a beast. And, I mean, look, the last game, he wasn't, you could argue that he wasn't, like, his dominant self. But then again, he was playing with an injured ankle. And so he was doing everything he could. And I thought he had a good game. But one of the things that you brought up, Fred Warner, one of the problems I'm having with the Niners is Devondre Campbell. This guy is fucking terrible. Is he a good guy in real life? I'm sure he is. I don't really fucking care. All I care about is, can he play the linebacker position? He can't. He's getting beat left and right. He can't even cover tight ends. He can't cover running backs. He can't even tackle Kyler Murray and stop a 50-yard quarterback read option for a touchdown house call. Unbelievable. This guy is constantly in the wrong spot. I'm tired of seeing Devondre Campbell. I want to see D. Winters out there instead. I don't care what experience Campbell has. He looks slow. He looks overweight. And he can't cover anybody. What do you think about Devondre Campbell?
Dude, he's just been a liability in coverage. This is not his type of style of play, if I'm being honest with you. Like he doesn't react quickly. Like maybe in the early part of his career, he was solid, but you can tell his coverage has declined. You can see why Green Bay moved on for a reason.
Yeah, they were like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, and I guess he was having a little dramatic and talking about how it was bitterness, but at the same time, you can see why he's kind of slowed down. You know what DeAndre Campbell is, bro? He is the Jake Brendel of this fucking defense.
Yes, he is. He's the absolute Jake Brendel. Or Colt McKivitz.
Or okay, Colt, but one of the two, but you get
one
what
of the
I'm
two.
saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, Isaac Yannicum, bro. No wonder why he's been around different teams. Come on, man. Are you getting beat?
He's getting beat left and right. He's made some good plays, but not on a consistent basis. Mooney Ward has not looked the same all year. Demo Lenore has been balling out there. He's been our best corner that's out in the secondary. But Ward needs to step it up. And now there's talk that he's questionable to go for today because of his knee injury. And I'm sorry, but like every time we play the Seahawks, he follows around DK Metcalf, and he literally shuts him down pretty much every game that we play against them. Now, if he's not going to play, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, granted, he's had a bad year, but that's going to be a problem not having Mooney Ward out there with Debo Lenore.
I think in this matchup, maybe it's not as concerned as you think. Maybe we get a chance to see the young rookie, Ronaldo Green. Maybe he might surprise us, but Mooney Ward's been having an off year, man. So I don't know. Yes. I don't even think it matters if he played DK, bro. I mean, you seen what happened with the Rams game, bro. Tutu Atwell was looking like Tyreek Hill out there. And that was Mooney Ward, bro. He couldn't even cover the guy.
Well, I think that's what, when you look at the Niners-Seahawks matchup, I think that's what they're going to try and do. I think they're going to try to go vertical on the Niners because they've shown this year that they can't cover the speedy, deep ball. They can't, especially on the faster receivers. And you got guys like, what's his name? The receiver for the Seahawks, Tyler Lockett. That guy's fast. He can burn you. And so I think that's what they're going to try to take advantage of. Now, they're kind of a weird offense. They had some games where they scored a lot of points, and then recently against the New York shitty Giants, they actually played like shit defensively and offensively, especially defensively. They allowed over 100 yards rushing to the New York Giants. And they're also going to be down a bunch of their defensive players as well. One of them is Woolen, who is their one of the starting corners.
Yeah,
but
he's one of their best top corners,
Yeah, but it feels like the more a team is down players and has a lot of injuries, then the Niners, it's like they play worse. It's like, I'd rather have everybody there than the Niners play up to their potential because every team we've played that have been, they're missing a lot of players. They're not very good on defense. They're not very good at this. And then they play the Niners and they look fucking elite. And you're like, what's going on? I don't get it. But Devondre Campbell's got to go. I'm tired of seeing him getting beat left and right. If you want to bring him in for some run-stopping packages, that's one thing. But for him to be out there every single play, I have not seen anything that he's done that has given me any confidence that, this guy should be out there every down. He's got the experience. No, he's getting beat every down. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think experience should matter at this point. If you can't even play up to that level, then you should be on the bench. I mean, I gotta say we need to see some Ronaldo Green out there. I would rather have
Ronaldo
him.
Green's got to be out there.
Yeah, but I think there's a good chance he is going to play. But even with Hufanga, he's kind of been a little off on his coverage too. So maybe with Mustafa, we might get a good spark on our defense. I hate to say this, but I think Mustafa's going to replace Huff's spot going forward.
Absolutely. I think when Huff comes back from his ligament tear, they'll probably put him in there, maybe, but it depends. If Mustafa's balling, then they're not.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard.
It's going to be hard. And then I think that, he could, Hufanga could be a factor on special teams. We know that he has been in the past before he got that starting spot at safety. He was the one who picked up that ball for the touchdown against the Packers in the playoffs, but after they blocked that the punt. It was a crazy ass play.
Yeah, it was a block. Yeah, it was a crazy play, but it was by Jordan Willis, and that play was history. Yeah.
But and you know what? Here's the thing too: is that I'm really tired of everybody saying like, "Oh, they don't have Jordan Willis anymore. They don't have they don't have DJ Jones. They don't have this. They don't have that. They missed those guys." Well, guess what? Those guys aren't coming. Those guys aren't going to show up anytime soon. They're not going to walk through the door and say, "Hey guys, I'm back." No, they have what they have, and they have to make it work. The guys they have are not bad players, especially on the defensive line. But they have to utilize them to their full potential. And not having Jordan Elliott tonight is really upsetting me. I think if this is a Sunday game, he probably goes. But because it's Thursday, he's not going to go.
Yeah, because he's a solid run stopper. Like, you need somebody like that. But what's really upsetting is, why is T.Y. McGill getting promoted instead of Evan Anderson?
I don't know, but Evan Anderson played last week, and or the week before, and he got a sack. So I thought for sure he'd be up. But they're going to go with T.Y. McGill. I'm assuming that T.Y. McGill is more of a run-stopping threat because he's going to be in there with Kevin Givens. But to me, that's kind of like having the same player twice. You know what I mean? Like, they're both kind of similar kind of build. So I'm not sure.
One's a lot older and a wash, and the other one has more motor and more upside.
Yeah, McGill's a much older player. Last week, he only had one tackle. How old is T.Y. McGill? Let me see.
He's like 32 or something, 31 or 32.
He was born in 92. So, yeah, he's 32.
Yeah, I'm older than him.
I'm way older than him. I know. Sadly, I'm much older than T.Y. McGill. You start feeling old when you start watching sports and all the players are younger than you, then you're like, oh, shit. I've reached that point in life. I remember as a kid watching the Giants, watching the Niners, and they were all older than me. So it was cool, like, oh, hey, these are all superstars. And then all of a sudden you reach their age, you're like, oh, shit. I guess I could have been me if I got my shit together.
Yeah, there was a lot of those times, but now that I look back, I was playing for a bad high school team. Now, 15 years later, they're undefeated this year,
They're
bro.
Undefeated, there you go.
And I wasn't a part of that winning culture.
Of course not. That's like when I went to Sac State. The last semester I was there is when they started doing a full like remodel and rebuild of the campus, building a huge sports facility, all these new dorms. I was like, dude, that's great. I'm gonna graduate and I'll never experience any of this. Awesome, but my money that I spent, to go there helped pay for that. So I guess that's good. So looking back again at the Arizona Niners matchup before we move on to the Seahawks and Niners. One of the things that even I was talking about on the NorCal Sports Report over on IE Sports Radio and over on Postgame Live here on DreArea Sports was that my biggest fear was that the Niners' inability to contain Kyler Murray in the pocket. And we saw, especially later on in the game, Kyler Murray started breaking contain and running for first downs. And that was just absolutely killing the Niners. And on top of that, the very first, I think it was the first play of the game, if not the second. The read option run where he ran for 50 yards to a touchdown. And if you watch that replay, Devondre Campbell played that horribly. He played that like you and I would have played that, which that's expected because we're not fucking NFL linebackers.
We're not quick.
And we're not quick. I'd be like, oh.
Campbell looked like an average Joe from that point, and I think he doesn't have it no more. So, like, when you like the way how Kyler Murray did that read option shit, we just can't stop mobile quarterbacks. But no. I wouldn't take lightly on Geno, man. He actually had a crazy rushing game against the Giants. If you look at the numbers, I'm not kidding, bro.
Yeah, he did. Let me pull that up. Actually, that's a good point. No, he did have some good numbers against them. But they lost that game to the Giants, which I thought was kind of weird. But the Giants, the Seahawks defense was not able to stop their running game and wasn't able to stop their passing game. Their defense played horrible at home. So are they going to do that again for the second game in a row? I don't think so. I think they'll play a little bit better. But besides, this is a divisional matchup. So the stakes are higher. First place on the line, and they're going to be going 110%. You know what I mean? Even the guys that weren't will be.
It's going to be more.
I'm trying to pull up the Seattle here. Oh, here it is. So let's see. Geno Smith, he ran for 72 yards. He had 4 rushes for 72 yards. His longest was a 32-yard run. He was the leading rusher on the team.
Yeah, and they didn't even run the ball with Kenneth Walker, so that's what I'm kind of curious. Are they going to start running the ball with him more? Like, with Walker, they're going to have to start giving Walker the ball, or else Geno's going to probably get some of the touches. But we gotta find ways to contain him also.
Well, let's look at it this way: the Seahawks have the 11th ranked defense. The Niners have a 10th ranked defense. When it comes to the rushing defense, Seattle is actually ranked 20th, while the Niners are ranked 9th. Now, the week before this, the Niners were ranked 3rd in rushing defense. But because of James Conner tearing us a new asshole, they've now dropped down to the 10th or the 9th best running defense. But like I said, the Seahawks are the 20th ranked running defense. You would think in this game, because of short rest, you're going to run the ball with J.P. Mason, and that's where you're going to get the most of your gains off of that and play action. But we'll see what they do. It seems to me that wherever the team is the weakest, that's where Kyle Shanahan likes to go at. So when you look at their passing defense, where are they? The Seahawks have the 7th best passing defense, but they're going to be without their starting corner. So that's probably going to bring them down just a bit. So hopefully he's going to run the ball more. But when they went against the Vikings, the previous year, the Vikings had a really bad passing defense. It wasn't as good as their run defense. So what did Kyle Shanahan do? He came out throwing the ball like crazy. When they went against the Cardinals, they had a horrible passing defense. What did he do? 3 straight passes on the first possession, and Brock looked terrible on those 3 passes. None of them were on time. None of them were accurate. It really felt like the heat was really bothering the Niners.
I mean, that's the problem. Like, why are we doing this little cute stuff, man? Come on, Kyle. Are you kind of trying too hard? Are you trying to think you could be a genius in the passing game? Why not you stick with the old formula, run the ball, and then it can open up the play action, and stop with the shotgun formation crap. God.
Or like shotgun, empty backfield. You're like, okay, well, you're going to you have no protection back there, and you're going to throw the ball because there's no one to hand it off to. And Brock isn't going to take off unless he has no choice. So to me, and that's another thing too. When we talk about like against the Vikings, 4th down, they went for it on 4th and goal. Instead of giving the ball to Mason and just fucking try to pound that shit in, he comes out and shotgun empty backfield. I'm like, okay, so they know you're going to throw the ball now. And Van Ginkel was already coming in on a blitz, so he's like, oh, there's nobody in the backfield, so he's going to throw the ball. I'll make sure to get my hands up for sure. And then he deflects the pass. He was like, but you were telegraphing it. You're like, yeah, I'm in shotgun, empty backfield. So, yes, I'm throwing the ball. It's too obvious. And so I just wish that they would kind of change that up. Now, look, I think Kyle Shanahan is an absolute great coach. But right now, because he does not have Christian McCaffrey, it's altering his game quite a bit. And I hope that they can overcome, that adversity of not having Christian McCaffrey. I hope we get him back next week, but we'll see. I think that's kind of wishful thinking.
He's trying too hard. That's the problem. And plus, it doesn't help that we don't have the best separation. Like, I think we're ranked among the worst when it comes to separation with the receivers.
They're ranked extremely low when it comes to separation. They're also they're ranked 31st in yak yards. So where we used to dominate in the yak yards, now we're not. No one's getting separation. No one's breaking tackles and getting extra yards. It's just not happening this year. And I'm thinking it's because we don't have Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's like that chess piece you're missing, and it makes it pretty easy for you. But I guess maybe they need to trust more with JP on some passing downs, like maybe just on a screen pass, maybe on the goal line, give him the ball. We've seen how effective Mason can be when he gets the ball.
Yeah, and he's a big guy, and you know what? He has caught, he threw him a pass in the flat, and he did he planted his left foot and did a juke move, and then ran forward and got the first down. So he's able to actually elude defenders when he's out there on the flat. So I think they need to do something to kind of get him involved in the game, especially in the passing game when it comes to Jordan Mason, because It just feels like whenever they're in a position where Jordan Mason's in the backfield and it's like 3rd and 12, they don't consider him a threat. They don't even look at him. They're just like, oh yeah, here, as long as he's over there, it's fine. When it's Christian McCaffrey, they're like, oh shit, watch him. You know what I mean? Watch wherever he goes. And that's what frees up the other receivers.
Yeah, but I think they need to find ways to do that. Like, let them underestimate Mason in the backfield, and then we can just throw him the ball, and maybe he can get those big chunk plays off that screen pass. But I think the problem with this red zone offense is, like, you know, the way they're trying too hard. That's the problem. Like, can we go with the way we had it before? Like, you see how some teams have scored pretty well under that. You see it with the Rams. You see it with the Saints and Vikings that have done it before. So why are we changing some of this shit? It just makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Like, okay, maybe we should find a different way to get into red zone, but maybe try to get Debo in again, but get a little screen pass on Debo. I'm pretty sure he could break a couple of tackles and get you in better position to score, or do what you did with Kittle, or try to find a way to get JJ in the middle, and maybe he can break a couple plays and get you that touchdown.
You know, we saw them execute in the red zone, especially in the first half against the Rams. We saw a lot, even in the third quarter as well. We saw them hit JJ for touchdowns, and it was like, yeah, this is great. This is what we should be doing. And then they just fell apart. So I don't know. They got to figure out their red zone woes because it's costing them games. I mean, in the last game they left 12 points on the board.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You just and 12 points total in terms of like touchdowns and field goals that they could have had. They left 12 points on the board. And that would have won the game. I mean, one of those touchdowns would have won them the game. That last drive against the Cardinals when Mason fumbled, that would have won them the game. If they score a touchdown, it's game over. It doesn't matter what the Cardinals do. It's over.
It would have been a 2-possession game at least at that point. So, I mean, just those mistakes, bro. We just got to clean those mistakes up a little bit, especially in the red zone. But to be fair on that Cardinals game, let's just say if Moody wasn't hurt, I think we would have had those kicks. Not taking.
He probably would have.
I'm not going to discredit the Cardinals for the victory, of course, but if I had to be honest, we didn't have a kicker.
Yeah, we didn't have one.
It's just like how we played the Eagles. We didn't have a quarterback. It's just weird.
I didn't even want to talk about that game. That was fucking terrible.
I know. It is, but it's hard. It's hard to come up with that, but yeah.
Guys, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do so, I'm going to put it in the chat right now, is to go to my website, nicotina.com. But here is the actual link right to my memberships tiers for DreArea Sports. Go on there, become a member, and support the channel. I appreciate everyone who does. We're trying to grow this channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers now. We're at 1,300. So I want to try to get to 1,400 by the end of the week. If we can get to 2,000 by the end of the season, dude, I'd be stoked. So yeah, go to the link in the chat. That's the membership tiers for DreArea Sports that were just activated maybe a couple of days ago. So it's brand new, so definitely check that out. This show is also brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save up to $20 on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. If you're going to go to Seattle to go watch this game, use SeatGeek, use promo code DreArea Sports, and save yourself $20. There you go. And also, this show is brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code DreArea Sports when making your first bet over on BetUS. They will match you up to $125 on your first 3 deposits. I'm loving BetUS. Definitely check out BetUS, where the game begins. And we're brought to you by PowerBrandSystems. Use promo code 300POWER and save up to $300 on your first purchase at PowerBrandSystems. They can build you and sculpt you a website that will help boost your small business or your YouTube channel into the future. If you want an example of what their website designs look like, then just go to my website, nicotina.net. This show is part of the Nicotina Network, and you can go there and you'll see everything. The whole website is designed by PowerBrandSystems. So definitely check out PowerBrandSystems with promo code 300POWER. Also, use the referral link in the description below when going to PowerBrandSystems, or we're going to BetUS as well. We got one of those down there. Okay, so here we go. let's fully dive into Niners and Seahawks. Okay, so when it comes to Niners Seahawks, so overall defense, total defense. Like I said before, the Niners are ranked 10th. Seahawks are ranked 11th. Now the Seahawks are going to be down a number of players. I was trying to find the tweet that described all their losses. Let me see if I can get that going right now. But what do you think about the two offenses? Which one do you think is more potent, and which one do you think will find more success, the Niners or the Seahawks?
Well, the problem is, I think Seattle's been on a slump, but I think you look at how much weapons they got. They've been able to get in the red zone a little bit more than the Niners, but can the Niners get over the hump? Hopefully. I think this is the week where Shanahan finally does what he does. I think this is the time the Niners are going to figure it out. I think Seattle's going to try to get a little too overconfident. And maybe DK Metcalf might be – he's been having some ball security issues with the ball lately.
Yeah, he has. And they're going to have to figure it out because at this point, they don't have a choice. If they lose this game, they fall to 2-4 with Kansas City coming into town the following week. Yeah. There's a chance that they could be 2-5 going against the Cowboys. You cannot afford to go 2-5 in this league.
Yeah, you can't. Like, it's one of those type of games where it could be a quick turnaround. So I think Seattle has a lot more to score, if I'm being honest, but I think Niners could figure it out now.
I think so. Now, when we talk about the injuries, this is what we're saying. These are Seattle key injuries. The Seahawks will be missing the majority of their D-line and several key players for Thursday Night Football. Most notably, defensive tackle Byron Murphy, cornerback Tariq Woolen, and edge rusher Uchenna, whatever, are out. Blah, blah, blah. So they're missing 3 key players on their defense, along with a number of other defensive linemen. So there's a reason why the Giants were able to run all over them, because they're missing a lot of their D linemen. And so that's where the Niners need to take advantage. The Niners need to focus on running the football and opening up those running lanes for J.P. Mason to really take over this game. This should be a Mason-dominated game.
Yeah, I think he's going to get 20-plus touches, and I think you're going to see a little bit of Isaac Guerrero like we did last week. I think he's shown a little bit of progress, so I think the running game is going to be the main focal point for this Niners offense. I think as far as the red zone, I think that's where we're going to have to improve in the red zone, is maybe running the ball in the goal line, and I'm pretty sure Mason's going to get the touchdown. Or Shanahan might realize, hey, let's just try to give a screen pass to Jordan Mason, and maybe we get a touchdown off of that play. If it worked with CMC before, why not Jordan Mason? He's improved as a pass catcher lately.
Yeah. No, it's true. They got to change things up. They got to make it to where, it just, to me, it feels like they're running the same plays they ran in the past with Christian McCaffrey, but now they're using guys like Deebo Samuel in that spot, or now they're using other players to fill in the gaps, and teams are cluing in on that. One of the things that Nick Bosa had said recently, that was telling. He had talked about in the post-game interview, he talked about how the teams are playing them differently. So essentially, they're going into the game with a game plan of how the team is going to play them. And then when the game starts, the teams are playing them differently. They're not doing the things that they think they're going to do. In fact, they're doing the things that they don't want the other team to do, but they're doing it. And so the teams aren't falling for some of these traps because guys like Christian McCaffrey are not out there. So you don't have to account for the running back position. So, again, according to freaking Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sorensen's doing a great job. But, I mean, what do you want him to say? Do you think he's going to say, yeah, he sucks. Fuck him. I want to get rid of him. No, he's not going to say that. Come on.
He ain't going to say that. He's trying to be nice. And then the worst part about Nick Sorensen's press conference, I didn't like the way he said it in the press conference.
No. That
did you see what he said?
Fuck out of me. They kind of got us a little bit there. They fucking ran for a 50-yard touchdown, your dumbass. Like, come on.
Describe a bad tackle. Let me evaluate the film or some shit. Really? To evaluate whether it's a bad missed tackle or good missed tackle?
I know. Dude, I saw this shit on the internet. I want to show it to you. It says, Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers hit the fourth quarter.
Not Jim Tom Sula, not Ron Jeremy. Damn.
Tom Sula. Those were dark.
Hey,
Those were the dark years. I'll tell you that.
well, Dennis Erickson were the dark years too, but
Oh yeah, those were real dark years. There wasn't a lot of hope right there. And also too, let's take a listen to this. This is Nick Bosa after the game, and I think this is going to lend to the Seahawks game as well. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Where is it? There it is.
A 1-point loss. What lessons does the defense as a whole take away from this game?
I think just as a whole, as a team, we've always been an organization and a team that finds ways to win, and we're kind of doing the opposite so far. We're finding ways to lose, and it doesn't matter how good players are, doesn't matter how explosive the offense is. If you let teams hang around and not play your best ball later in the game, then you're going to find yourself in these situations. And I'm still very confident in the team, obviously, and I'm glad it's happening early.
And that's true. Like, I agree with what he said, that they're finding ways to lose. But I like that he said, I'm glad it's happening early. Because if this was late in the year, I mean, look at the Eagles.
that would be frustrating. Yeah.
Look at the Eagles. They were 5-0 last year, and then all of a sudden they started playing like shit, play the Niners. Niners crushed them, and then they just completely collapsed.
Yeah. You see you see these type of teams with early starts, they don't have the flaws until later in the season.
Yeah.
And then you start to like see it. Like, I think you're gonna see those flaws with I'm not trying to be a hater, but I think Minnesota is the perfect example of looking like Super Bowl contenders right now. But I bet you, this is my hot take, later in December, you're gonna see Minnesota fold. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I mean,
Because-
Kansas City, they're proven. Kansas City's proven, so I'm not going to question them.
Well, and not only that, but like they got fucking Patrick Mahomes. I mean, look, fuck Mahomes, fuck the Chiefs, but he's hella good.
Yeah,
And
but I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
the refs have
question
helped
them.
him out. The refs have helped him out, but still, like, he's still hella good. Like, no matter what, like, the guy's fucking money.
Yeah,
He's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah,
And it's
hands
not.
down.
And it's not just based on his skill, but it's also his intangibles, his feel for the game, his intelligence of the game. He just does everything that you want a quarterback to do. Like, to me, he's like the Steph Curry of the NFL, where he just he makes it look easy, and you're like, fuck, you know?
Yeah, he
Like, he's
makes
just
it
like,
effortless.
Oh, yeah.
He would be the Steph Curry because of the way he plays the game. So yeah, but I think when you look at the most like the proven teams with that winning mentality, you know KC's for real. But Minnesota, we don't know, bro. Like Commanders, I think it's very maintainable for them for right now. But watch next year. Jaden Daniels is going to get figured out next year.
I think so. I think next year he'll have to expand his game and be more of a pocket passer. But I mean, look, guys like Lamar Jackson. I mean, everyone's like, oh, this guy can't even throw the ball. He's not going to be a pocket passer. He's still playing at a high level. So some guys can do it, some guys can't, but we'll see. I'll tell you one guy it's not going to be is Bryce Young. That guy, I think he's fucking mentally lost, but hopefully he figures it out. Because I mean, he's a human being himself. You know, I don't want to see people just completely suffer. Going back to Niners and Seahawks, I want to pull this up. This was the NFL Network's picks for this game, and so they picked. Well, it was almost divided. So you got 5 picking the Niners, 4 picking the Seahawks. And that's based on the way the Niners are playing. And that's why earlier in the week, when I was fucking pissed, I said this game is going to be a blowout. It's going to be Seahawks 31-17. And the Niners are going to continue to fuck up. Now, look, I was a little mad, okay? I was a little mad. I was a little frustrated. I was getting real pissed. So I am going to change that. And I think if it is a blowout for the Niners, the Niners will win 31-17. I think at the end of the day, I see the Niners winning this game 27-24. I think it's going to be a close game, and I hope, and I'm going to be mad that it is. But at this point, I don't care if it's a close game or a blowout. They just have to fucking win the game.
Find a way to win, yeah.
Find a way to win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I think this is going to probably be one of the best Thursday night games of this year. So if I'm going by my score prediction, I say Niners 31, Seahawks 27. I think that's what's going to be. I think the reason why they'll get 27 points is because of those garbage stats.
Yeah. I mean, in all the games, in all the picks where the Niners, I'm sorry, in all the picks where the Seahawks win over here on NFL Network, they're all 3-point games, 3 or 4 point wins. So it's close. None of them picked the Seahawks to blow them out. So we'll see how it turns out. All right. So before we keep going on about the defensive side of the game, we've been talking a lot about the offense. We're going to do a little game. We're going to play 4th and 1. We're going to do this right here, right now, because we got some questions that I want to run by you. I still haven't made the intro for it. I was going to make a little thing, but I haven't gotten around to it. So, but here we go. So this is going to be 4th and 1. You have 2 options. You can either kick, or I'm sorry, you can either punt or you can go for it, okay? So question number 1, will the Niners bounce back Thursday night?
I'm going for it, yes.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, I agree. I think the Niners will bounce back. I know earlier in the week I said that they're fucking dead in the water, but I think that based on the injuries that have been announced by the Seahawks, I think that the Niners will actually be able to bounce back in this game, and I think they have a chance to win this game because of all the injuries the Seahawks have. But we'll see how they kind of how they do that.
And the way the locker room and everything's kind of acting, and then you saw what they did in practice. They did a rare practice, so something's telling me they're looking to bounce back.
Absolutely. Did you see what DK Metcalf said about the Niners?
I don't know if he actually did say that. Was it on the press conference?
Well, it had a picture of him, and then it just had like a quote, which I was like, "Was that real?" He said, in that quote, it said, "I'm not worried about them. This is the least I've ever been worried about the Niners. They can't defend very well. They don't cover very well." So if they really did say that, then the Niners are going to come out pissed. I'll tell you that. Okay, let's go to the next question. Next question. How many sacks will the Niners have? How many sacks will the Niners defense score? I mean, how many will they get in the game?
How many will they get?
Yeah.
So Gino's kind of been sacked from time to time. So I'll play it safe. I'll go 3 sacks.
3 sacks. I'm gonna go with I want to go lower than that because their pass rush has been fucking awful. I'm going to go with 2. I think just 2 sacks. I think that's one of the areas that they're going to fuck up in. Next question. Will Brock throw an interception?
That's the toughest one. That's the problem. The receivers are terrible in separation. It depends on who he throws the ball to. But I think in this is what it's telling me. This game, he's not going to throw a pick.
Okay. No picks.
So I want to say, so since this is like a 4th and goal one, I'm going to punt.
You're going to punt?
Because he's not throwing a pick on this game. No.
Yeah. With Tyreek Woolen out and a lot of the defenders out, I'm going to punt this one because I don't think he'll throw an interception. I think Broxton is holding himself accountable, and he wants to make sure that he's playing at high of a level as possible. So I will say that he will not throw an interception. Now, if you look at the last 2 interceptions they threw, one of which was a pass deflection that got knocked in the air and intercepted. So it wasn't like he threw a bad pass.
Yeah.
And the other one, he got hit. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I think in this I think in this matchup, whoever's the slot corner is gonna probably have a hard time getting that making a tackle. So I think Jennings is gonna go against Trey Brown. That's a terrible matchup. I hate to say.
Yeah. Okay. Next question: will J.P. Mason run for over 100 yards?
Yeah, I'm going for it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm going for that one. I think he runs for over 100. I think he runs for 147, right around there. I don't think they can really stop him. The only question is that can the Niners execute in the red zone, which is where they've been struggling every week.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a touchdown on one of these runs, but I don't think he's going to get like the 140 range. I think he's going to get the 125 or the 128 or something like that. But I think you're going to see a little bit of Garendo in the running game where he might get some big runs.
Well, let me ask you about Garendo before we go on to the next question. I mean, look, I know the guy has talent, but you have Patrick Taylor just sitting there, who's a veteran running back. Yeah. Why aren't we using Patrick Taylor? Why aren't we using Vaughn, who's over on the practice squad? Why do we still have Garendo, who hasn't really shown that he has the vision of being a running back? It almost feels like they're kind of stuck with this guy. They don't want to let him go because they'll know that somebody else will probably snag him. But do you see this guy as really as our our running back number 2?
Like, he can be our running back 2 in the future, but I think the investment on Garendo is going to pay off at some point. But he has that big run ability. If they opened up the holes the right way, this guy's untouched.
Well, and I mean, on some of the video breakdowns, like I mentioned, Johnny Dell, there was some running plays where there was a hole there, but he couldn't identify it in time. And so then he bounces out or he bounces to the right. And JP Mason was doing the same thing. But Garendo doesn't have that vision, as good of a vision as Mason does, or especially as CMC, which is why, yeah, it's really about the experience. And that's what's tough about running backs. And that's one thing that I think Kyle Shanahan loves about Elijah Mitchell. Because he's dependable. He doesn't miss his holes. He's a patient runner. He can catch the ball from out of the backfield, and he doesn't fumble. He doesn't fumble the ball. Now, does he get hurt a lot? Yeah. And I think that if Elijah Mitchell was healthy, more than likely he'd probably have Mitchell as the starting running back and not Mason. Even though Mason's been amazing, he probably would stick with Mitchell because he trusts him more. That's how Kyle Shanahan operates. It's ridiculous, but
he was very dependable when healthy. But I think with Garendo, you're going to see some of those big plays coming into play at some point because you got to give him some more reps, or else it doesn't build confidence for this kid. Yeah. I mean, you drafted this kid to be your RB2 of the future, down the road, potentially number 1 down the road, but he has to play. But Patrick Taylor, like you said, maybe in the goal line we can use Patrick Taylor because he's a big physical back. Like, that can be good on the red zone. Like, let's say, what is it, like 3rd and goal on the 2-yard line? Who would you rather run the ball with? Mason, even though he's a little tired, or would you rather want to go with Patrick Taylor, who's fresh? And he's
Patrick Taylor. Just give him the ball. I mean, Mason is the one I'm going to go with regardless, but still, I see what you're saying. Garendo, I mean, look, they also put him in special teams, and he fumbled the ball because he ran into his own blocker and lost the football. It was like, bro, what are you doing?
Or I need some glasses or something.
Yeah, wear some gloves, something. I don't know, man. Fuck. All right, let's go on.
He couldn't see the holes, like you said, so maybe he needs glasses.
Maybe he needs glasses, man. I don't know. Something. Okay, next question. Will Geno Smith throw for over 100 yards?
He's going to throw for over 100 yards, bro. Like, that's not even out of the question. It's not even out of the question. I think he'll get around the 200-plus yards.
Yeah, I mean, every game he's thrown for over 200 yards. I don't see this being a game where... Yeah. I don't see him being a game where they completely shut down the quarterback. I don't. Because they've had a pretty explosive...
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he doesn't get much passing yards, but I say 240 at the worst.
Yeah. Maybe the question should have been over 200 should have been the question.
Yeah.
Maybe I hit the wrong button on that one. I think that's what it was.
You should have said rusher, but okay.
Well, I don't think they're going to rush for over 100 yards. Kenneth Walker, he had 5 rushes for 19 yards last
week. They're going to have to run him more at this point.
I mean, they gave up 129 yards to Tyrone Tracy Jr., who I don't even know the fuck that is, but he ran for...
I liked him in the draft. I liked him in the draft, that guy from Purdue.
He ran for 129 yards.
He's a versatile weapon, bro. He's like a Deebo Samuel. He was a wide receiver and then converted to running back.
Oh, nice. And not only that, but like the Giants didn't even have, what's his name? Malik Neighbors.
Nope.
And they didn't have Singletary. Their starting running back. Their backup ran for 129 yards, and Darius Slayton was 8 catches for 122 yards and a touchdown. That's the game. 8 catches, 122 yards and a touchdown. That's what Ayuk should be doing in this game tonight.
Yeah, Ayuk, and I expect Jennings to have a solid game too.
I think tonight, if you ask me, Kyle Shanahan goes back to putting Deebo Samuel in the backfield way more often, and I think that you're not going to see a lot of Isaac Garendo. I think it's going to be Mason and Deebo as your running backs. So when
maybe
one's
that's what's going to happen, yeah.
Because we saw that against the Jets, we saw that against the Vikings, and then he got hurt, and they kind of went away from that. And I think tonight it's going to be put Debo in the backfield. Debo will be your Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield. They
Like
tried
a
that
Debo.
last week as well, but I think they're going to go more heavily onto that because they want to have that weapon out of the backfield. So, okay, last question. And this doesn't even have to do with the game. Will CMC be back for next week's game versus Kansas City? Do you punt or are you going to go for that?
I've heard some positive signs. If he practices again and there's no setback, it looks more than likely he could be. But I might have to go for this one because even if McCaffrey doesn't go out there, bro, I don't know how we're gonna match up with Kansas City. But if TMC comes, bro, I like our chances.
You know, I was afraid, and I honestly say that I was afraid that the Chiefs were going to make a move and get Devontae Adams. I was like, oh my God, please don't make this happen. But no, they're not. They already said they're not going to do it. And I guess they're going to roll with the guys they already have. I mean, look at last year. I mean, Rashee Rice was like their best receiver, and they still beat the fucking Niners. God damn it. So we'll see what they do. I to be honest, I think we beat them this week or next week. Regardless if we win or lose tonight, I think the Niners are going to beat Kansas City, and they're going to beat the Cowboys because, fuck, we always beat the Cowboys. Cowboys suck.
I don't know, but in all seriously, there's going to be some resilience from this team because we're coming off these slump starts, and usually those are the teams that get hot later in the season.
Yeah. If this was like week 12, I'd be worried as fuck.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, this is not good. Because right now, dude, let me do this. Right now, this is how the Niners look right now, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look. This is how they look right now. Like that dude from UFC, Roundtree, just beat up. I don't want to keep it on the screen. It's so disgusting.
Oh wow, man!
But
yeah, we're getting beat up right now.
Yeah. So they're a little beat up, but I think that they'll bounce back. Okay, so that's going to include the 4th and 1 game. So let's talk real quick about defensively. What do the Niners need to do defensively to stop the Seahawks?
They got to find a way to limit DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I think so.
At least if you take away Metcalf a little out of the game, Gino's going to have to throw at somebody else. And I know the X factor is going to be Lockett, of course. Jigma is like a mystery. He can have a good game or he can look okay. But Metcalf, he's just one big play away from just making a big difference play. And he's one of those kind of guys. But if you can shut him down and put him out of his game a little bit, that Seattle offense is like one-dimensional. You can take away the running game. You just got to stop the running game. But focusing on Metcalf will be key.
Well, and also, too, it's like for the defense, I think that, again, I agree, shutting down DK Metcalf is huge. When you look at the overall rushing, the rushing defense, right?
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker only rushed for 19 yards. Charbonnet rushed for 11 yards. That's not a lot of yards. They didn't do much on the ground except for Geno Smith, who had 72 yards. And you're talking about the Giants, who have the 12th ranked rushing defense in the league. The Niners have the 9th best running defense. So really, they should be able to shut down the running game and not let that become an issue. I don't think it's going to be hot there. It's not. Or in the second,
be nice and cool in Seattle.
Dude, second half, the body language of the Niners was just like, I'm hella hot. I don't want to be out here right now. Are we done? You know, it was kind of like, come on, you guys. You're about to win the fucking game. But I think, disrupting the running game, don't let this weak-ass running game get started. Make them one-dimensional. Make them throw the ball. Make sure that if he does play, Mooney Ward is locked on to DK Metcalf because he has the height to match him as well. And I think that you'll find a lot of success defensively. And not to mention, last week, the Giants sacked him like 7 times.
Yeah, I'm shocked if we get 6 sacks on him, but I think realistically we'll get 3 on him.
Let's see. Based on Yahoo Sports, it says that he got sacked 3 times, but someone told me it was like, then he got hit 7 times. But still, they put a lot of pressure on Geno Smith, and the Niners need to do the same thing.
Yeah,
they got to look at this like this is a playoff game at this point. Until we get well over 500, every game is a playoff game. This one more so because at the end of the day, whoever wins this game gets first place in the NFC
division.
West.
Yeah.
And that's saying that the Cardinals lose, but the Cardinals are playing Green Bay at Lambeau Field. I'm sorry, there's no fucking way the Cardinals are going to win that game in Lambeau against the Packers.
I don't know. Green Bay's kind of been a little unpredictable. Like the way they played the Rams, bro. I don't know.
They still beat them though.
They still beat them, but bro,
and they almost beat the Vikings. And they had to climb back into that game. They probably should have won that game, but they didn't. Which I was like, fuck, man.
But here's the thing. This is the crack on the Vikings. I'm telling you, there's going to be those type of games for the Vikings down the stretch. You're going to see it. They're going to have a hard time closing out these games.
Yeah, I mean, look at last week. You look at 2 weeks in a row, they almost lost the game because they couldn't close it out. And I actually thought that at the end of the game last week for the Vikings that Sam Darnold, I think Sam Darnold started to kind of turn back into a pumpkin. He was like, "Oh, I'm changing back." You know, he was throwing the interceptions. He started looking a little more panic in the pocket.
I think it's going to start showing. It's going to start showing soon. I'm not trying to be a hater on the Vikings. Not at all. I'm seeing the cracks a little bit. Like, okay, your dominant win over the Texans. Okay, I'll give you credit. Oh, you guys beat the Niners. Okay, I'll give you credit. But down the stretch, I want to see a little crack coming up.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and quite a few other those other fans, those other casual fans, they say, "Are you just saying it because they beat your team?" I'm like, no. Have you seen how they're playing?
Mm-hmm.
That could be concerning down the stretch.
On top of that, we know that in this game tonight, the uniform matchups are going to be really, really fucking cool. And we're talking about the throwbacks.
Like, I'll be honest, I do like the Seahawks throwback jersey. I'm not going to lie. The helmets and all that, even though I'm not a Seattle fan, it's pretty nice. But then you look at the Niners, the 94 jersey, that's badass. But, dude, that's going to be good. It's
going to be good, man. I think Ayuk is going to be the player that goes off tonight. I think he has that 8 catches. So. Yeah, I think he's the one. And we saw last week, and that's the shitty part about last week was, we keep talking about that, is that Brandon Ayuk finally showed up. Brandon Ayuk looked like the Brandon Ayuk of old, and he had 8 catches for over 100 yards. That was fucking great.
Yeah.
The George Kittle 8 catches in his game back from the hamstring injury. So we know they can move the ball, but can they score in the red zone? That's something that they have to figure out. What's up, Steve-O?
Hey, what's up,
Steve-O? Kittles.
I think this matchup, I think they're probably going to go with Witherspoon over Ayuk on this one. But even Witherspoon can get beat at times. But, I mean, if that leaves the matchup for Jennings against somebody else, dude, I like Jennings' chances of a breakout game again.
Yeah. And last week, he didn't really have much of a game, but he hurt his hand last week, and I think that kind of slowed him down. Jennings only had 1 catch for 13 yards. So he was bothered by something. Not to mention, I mean, look, Kittle had 8 catches on 12 targets. Ayuk had 8 catches on 12 targets. He had 147 yards. If he would have had a touchdown, we would have won the game. So, and you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., he only had 2 catches. 2 catches, 36 yards. But his second catch... His second catch was the catch that pretty much helped them win that game. That throw on 3rd and long, and he got a first down. I was like, oh, God.
Yadicum has been the problem right there. Like, he had a good game, too, in the beginning, but then it started showing late in the game he just couldn't hold up.
No, he couldn't. He has his moments. He's had good defensive moments, but it's just... I don't know, man.
How would you rank him from Isaiah Oliver? Would you say he's better than Oliver, or you think he's worse?
He's better than Oliver because Oliver was getting beat left and right. I mean, they were going over the top of Oliver purposely. I mean, you would have thought fucking you or me were out there fucking covering, like, oh, go after that guy right there, you know? So, but I think that Isaac Yiadom he's had some plays where, you know, he has some good pass deflections, some good stops, but then he's also had some where he looks really, really bad. I would rather see Renardo Green.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him out there. We don't even see Rock Ya-Sin. Remember in preseason, we're like, hey, Rock Ya-Sin. Now he's like, I don't even see the guy anymore. Every time I see him, he's on the sidelines, just standing there. Like, oh, okay.
He might be on deck for sure, and then you got looters, so
yeah. What is this? I don't know if I want to watch this. No, I'm not going to watch it. It's Emmanuel Acho saying this is why they miss Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to see it. It's just gonna piss me off. And then this could be true right here. What do you think, man? 49er fans, when faced with a 10-point fourth quarter lead.
It seems pretty accurate because we're like,
Pretty
please
accurate.
don't blow the lead, or have us as Al Bundy going like this.
Well, you know what it is? It's like every time we have a lead, it feels like they're just treading water. You know what I mean? Offense and defense, they're just treading water and hoping the time runs out. You're like, no, I need to see you guys fucking just go for the jugular and fucking put this game out of reach. And that's something they haven't done all year.
Yeah, touchdowns close the games more than field goals, but that's the problem.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to our final segment of the show before we wrap things up. And we're going to go with the all-loving score predictions. What is your score prediction for the Niners versus Seahawks on Thursday Night Football?
I'm going to say this is going to be a good Thursday night game. So I think it's like how everybody's been saying, but I think it's going to be a very close game. So I'm going to say Niners 31, Seahawks 27. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think Niners are going to bounce back. They're going to have some type of that kind of game where you kind of feel like, oh man, not this again, but then we finally close it or something.
Steve-O says 17-7. I'm assuming he's saying 17-7 Niners. So you said 31-27. That was your final score.
Yeah.
If you watched some of my shows earlier in the week, I was really pissed off, and I actually said it was going to be. Oh god damn it! That was Isaac got him right there. I was really pissed off, and based on the way the defense was playing, based on the way the effort that they were putting out on both defense and offense, I felt that the Seahawks were going to jump all over them, and I thought that the Seahawks would win 31-17. But cooler heads have prevailed, and after seeing all of the injuries that the Seahawks are facing, I say Niners will win this game 27-21. There you go.
Okay, that's fair. At least you got some sense knocked out.
I was pissed. I was like,
Yeah,
I have no
bro.
faith in this team. And look at this just popped up on my timeline, and so this is not that guy, but okay. So here's Sammy Darnold looking, and then look who's covering right there. Who's that right there? Number 22. Isn't that Isaac Yadam?
Bro, he can't cover.
Look how far off he is. That was the
Bro,
game right there. That was the game.
And he was slow.
That was the big third down they had to convert.
Yeah, and that was what closed the game from here.
Yeah, there's Yadam is like, fuck.
He can't even read his coverage, and even if he reads his coverage, he's too late on that coverage at times.
Go Niners and Bebop Jones. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Be bopping.
So there you have it. 27-21. Although, if you ask me, do you feel confident the Niners will win this game? I don't. I think they can win this game. I think they can win this game. I think they're more than capable of winning this game. But based on the way that their defense is playing and their lack of execution on offense, especially in the red zone, I am not confident they're going to win this game. But I want them to. But my confidence level isn't there because they haven't shown me that they can overcome these inefficiencies. 1 for 6 in the red zone against the fucking shitty Cardinals.
It's one of those games. It's one of those games that happens. But here's the meaning of the definition: remain faithful. We've gone through some starts where you're kind of feeling that little mindset. But you know what? I'm going to remain confident about this team until it goes at a 2-9, bro. So I'm going to say we are going to win. We're going to beat Seattle, and we're going to go on a strong run. So I don't see no reason, bro. Yeah, we had a slow start. Yeah, we were playing a little crappy, bro. But this is the short week to turn it around. This is it. This
is it. They have to turn it around this week. And all the players you talk to, you hear them talking, and they're all saying, hey, at least it's early. Or we can bounce back from this. So they're confident they can do it. Now they just got to execute. And I think watching some of this game film, they'll realize how poorly they've been executing on offense and defense. And they got to turn that shit around. And they got to turn it around quick. They're not going to do it. I already know they're not. But they got to, I don't want to see Devondre Campbell out there anymore. I really don't. but I think they're going to live and die with him until they get Greenlaw back. But I would rather see D. Winters out there in place
Jalen
of
Graham. One of those two, yeah.
Yeah, or Jalen Graham, or even fucking Tatum Bethune. I would take
Bethune.
any of those three over Devondre Campbell because as a quarterback, you got to figure they're going to be targeting Devondre Campbell. This guy can't cover
he's
anybody.
Slow. Yeah,
He's slow. He looks slow and overweight. Like, no, this is not the guy I want out there. But
yeah,
we'll see what they do.
Yeah, the guy looks like he just came off of eating double cheeseburger or some shit.
Yeah, he's like, oh, dude, I'm a little heavy right now. I just got done eating. And then real quick before we go, I just want to ask you your take on the whole Robert Saleh situation. Do you think that Robert Saleh should come back? The Niners should bring back Robert Saleh in some kind of capacity.
I think he'll be back maybe 2025. I think the experiment of it really depends on how Kyle feels about Nick Sorensen after the season. It's never say never.
Well, I think if the Niners win the Super Bowl, that's different. If we lose or have a shitty season, then I think he's going to come knocking on Robert Saleh's door like, hey, I need you back bad. I need you back bad, dude. Hurry up. So we'll see how this guy, I like this meme. How do you get fired on your day off?
Yeah.
It was after the game.
Yeah, how do you get fired, but then you get escorted out by the security? Damn.
That's not good, dude. That was not good. They escorted him out. Rodgers is like, get this man out of here. They're like, yeah, listen to him. Get him out of here.
And then
Rodgers fucked him over.
Yeah, and then on the Pat McAfee, he acts like he's the victim. Like, bro, you might have had something to do with it, man. Come on.
I think he absolutely has something to do with it, but it is what it is.
Even in Green Bay, he tried to get Matt LaFleur fired.
But that's how these guys get. Aaron Rodgers is like the LeBron James status in terms of like, trying to be his own coach and GM when he's on a team. Like, oh, I don't want this guy anymore. I'm going to fucking motion to get this guy out of here. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think they bring him in. I think they roll with what they have. I mean, they have Sorensen and Staley. Where are you going to put Saleh? Now you can have three guys running the defense. That's three's a crowd, dude. No way. He's like, everyone gets escorted out. We all do. Every time in my line of work, every time we've had to lay somebody off, we escort them out. But I mean, you would think it'd be a little different with the NFL team, but whatever. Okay, guys, that's gonna do it for the show. I want to thank obviously Chris coming out here and help put down a fire show. Chris, what do you got going on for the rest of the week, and where can everybody find you and your content?
Yeah, CG Roofless. If you want to watch most of my content, go on TikTok on CG Roofless, on X, CG Roofless 1, and on YouTube, CG Roofless. If you like some non-football stuff, I do have an entertainment channel where I do interview some pro wrestlers and other type of famous people. That's pretty, like, look at Ruthless Aggression Sports Network is another channel. Honestly, bro, it's been a great ride, bro. We're gonna have hopefully we win by tonight, but yeah, dude, you guys can find me here, but hey, go subscribe to DreArea Bay Area Sports, man. Go subscribe to my guy. Let's get him to 2,000 subscribers, and yeah, let's get my man some good followers, man. Come on.
And I'll tell you what, the first person who becomes a, what is it called? In all the tiers, the first person that becomes a Hall of Famer in that tier, you're going to win a chance to win a free 49er jersey. Now, granted, it's a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey, but it's free. You can do whatever you want with it. There you go.
No.
I'll be a little honest. I got to get rid of it somehow.
You should have given him a Ronnie Bell just for the elevator.
Yeah, it could be a Ronnie Bell. It could be whatever you want it to be. And real quick, guys, this show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save up to $20 on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. If you're looking to buy tickets to tonight's game and you're in the Seattle area, use promo code DreArea Sports when making your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com to save up to $20. This show is also brought to you by BetUS. BetUS will match you 125% on your first three deposits. Use promo code DreArea Sports when making your first bet with BetUS. Also, there's a referral link in the description if you want to use that instead. But please do so and help support the channel. And we're brought to you by PowerBrandSystems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase of PowerBrandSystems. PowerBrandSystems will make you a badass website for your small business or YouTube channel or social media account. You want an example of that? Well, then go to my website, nicotina.net. That is the homepage for all three of my channels. And there you'll find the membership tiers and communities for DreArea Sports. In fact, I put that link for the membership tiers for DreArea Sports in the chat already. So definitely check that out. Which is this one right here. Boom, there you go. We just started that a couple days ago. So head on over there. And if you don't want to do any of that, you can go on Patreon and join the Patreon for DreArea Sports. CG, fire show, man. I had a good time. Let's do it again next week.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, dude, it's a lot of fun.
All right, guys. We will see you guys next week. Go Niners. I'm predicting 27-21. Chris is predicting, what was your score?
I said 31-27. We're going to have a little bit of that adversity of a 10-point lead, but we're going to hold it down.
We're going to hold it down. Guys, you're watching 4th and 1, 49er Sports Talk, right here on the DreArea Sports channel. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.